So here we are on this week's episode of Ask the Artist, and you'll notice that this week we are not live because it's Martin Luther King Day and we're on vacation. So we're filming this ahead of time, but we are taking an audience member's question for today. So coming to the artist as he's working here. Are we disturbing you?
What?
Excuse me, sir. Are we disturbing you?
Oh, maybe.
What is it you're doing?
Probably the most important thing I do as a painter, mix colors.
So he's mixing the colors.
Sometime we'll have to talk about that.
Yes, but
down
not
the
today.
road. How many colors it takes to do a paint? How many colors does it take to do a painting?
Yes.
We'll talk about that down the road.
But today's question comes from one of our viewers, and she was just interested to know how you decided to become an artist. How does that happen?
How did I decide to become an artist? How does that happen? I was doing a mission for my church in France, and you have a companion. I was probably 20 years old. I had a companion who was about the same age. He wanted to be an artist. So we decided we'd paint a display of church-related, gospel-related subject matter so that we could put it up on the street, and when people came by, we could talk to them, maybe get a little more interest going. So we did that, and I was quite pleased with I thought at the time I was studying, medicine, psychiatry, that would be a really interesting way to go. And anyway, I quite enjoyed doing the painting, and it turned out quite well.
Now, what did you paint?
I painted a painting of Christ in the clouds with his hands. It was actually a copy of another artist's work, but that was before I knew you weren't supposed to do that very much.
He never sold it, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, when I came home from that mission, I had an aunt who was a Sunday painter up in Idaho, and I was living in Idaho at the time, and I asked her if I could come to her studio. So I went once a week for 6 weeks, and she taught me everything she knew. Bless her heart. And I kind of started from there. And as I've wanted to know more, I've studied with other artists and taken courses, and little by little it's grown into, well, I guess is a lifelong pursuit.
So you decided not to become a psychologist, obviously. Did you ever go to school for that at all?
No, for psychiatry or for art?
Yeah, for psychiatry.
Yeah, I took biology and chemistry. By the way, when I was taking those classes, I kind of thought, maybe this is not so much. And so maybe I fell into art but it's become a passion, and I love it. I've been doing it for a long, long time now.
Very nice. And so, and the end of that story?
The end of that story, the companion that I had done the display with came home, and he went to school and became a psychologist. And I became the artist. We kind of switched places. It was kind of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So tell us just a little bit about what you're painting here today.
Okay, so today I am starting a sketch and working into some of the color now. These are the Bulldog Mountains out at Saguaro Lake Ranch. So I'm going to attempt to create something along those lines.
So you always work from a photograph?
Most of the time now I work in the studio, and I've taken a lot of photographs around the country. This one, however, was taken by a friend out there who agreed to let me paint from it. It was such a beautiful photograph. But normally I have files of photographs I've taken over the years, and normally I do work from my photographs. Sometimes I do a plein air show in Idaho every summer, and I go out and paint on location with 7 or 8 other artists, and we have a lot of fun with that. But normally I'm in the studio trying to create something graceful and elegant and beautiful.
It's easier to keep the clouds in the same position, I've noticed, if you paint from a photograph than when you're outside.
I'll have to think about that one.
Okay, ponder on that. So just to finish off here, I think that one question we could answer, we asked how you decided to become an artist. Now, are you glad that you made the choice?
I'm really grateful I made that decision a long time ago. It's been a wonderful life. Been able to raise a family of 9 children and keep my wife fairly happy with that business. She's been very involved with me. She helps market and keep track of my inventory and keep track of me. She manages to keep me well fed so that I have the strength and the stamina to do what I do.
It takes a lot of stamina.
Yeah.
A lot of standing, a lot of painting. So we'll just watch for just a few minutes, and then at the end of this, we will set up a time-lapse video so that you can watch him complete this beautiful painting.
Complete. 3 days later.
They won't know that. Secrets. Insider secrets.
Insider secrets.
So thank you again for joining us today. Send us your questions. You can personal message John or send him an email. We'll put that in the comments. Any way you want to get a hold of us to ask us your questions for the artist, because it's not every day you meet an artist, and now you can ask them your questions.